In this world that seems to be so wonderfully filled with social media, what star do you follow? I did a little research and I discovered that the most followed pop star on Instagram is Selena Gomez. She has just over 106 million followers. If you were to look up the statistics for Snapchat, Kylie Jenner is the most popular and the most viewed star on Snapchat. She has a little over 4.5 million individual picture views. And then if you go to the slightly older and less popular Twitter, you'd find that Katy Perry has over 95 million followers. What star do you follow? I wonder, because today we celebrate the Feast of the Epiphany. Today we celebrate the fact that there was another star. There is still yet another star offered to us. Another star given to us. Another star, the Star of Bethlehem, that we have today the option of following in a new way. What star do you follow? Do you find your life filled with anxiety, anticipation, and longing to be like a star on Instagram, to have that perfect persona, to fulfill the image that seems so unattainable and yet so attractive that is offered often in our media-driven world? Is that the star that captivates your heart, your mind, or your imagination? Is that the star that you follow? Or rather, is it maybe the Star of Bethlehem? The star that will lead us to a very lowly manger in a out-of-the-way barn. A cold, damp, dark place where the King of the world rests comfortably in a trough designed for animals to eat. Is that the star that we choose to follow? What is it? As we listen to these words, as we remind ourselves of this story, what is it that goes before you? What is it, that shining example that you most often place in your sight, that motivates you, inspires you, and fills you with optimism that maybe you can be better? Is it the star of Selena Gomez, Kylie Jenner, or Katy Perry? Or is it the Star of Bethlehem? Because the reality is, they're going to lead you in very different places. They're going to lead you to different destinations, different ways of living, and they're going to offer different promises of what happiness, hope, joy, and fulfillment can be. What star do you follow? Can we, as we continue to struggle with our New Year's resolutions, can we, in a new way, join these three magi, these three wise men, these three kings, as they're often spoken of, who themselves would have been incredible stars in their own right where they were from, the homes where they reigned, the lands where they were known as wise and powerful and wealthy. They, who had their own star power to themselves, left everything, traveled great distances, possibly tens of thousands of miles, to seek out the Star of Bethlehem. Can we join them? Can we consider what it is that they were about? Which star do you follow? Consider what it is that they gave to Jesus. These three precious, valuable, rare gifts. One gave to the child in the manger the gift of gold, the gift of earthly wealth, the gift of power and status. Do we give to our Lord something greater than gold? Do we choose him over the pursuit of wealth and power? Do we choose the Lord over the desire for riches and a large bank account? Or consider frankincense. This perfume that was used specifically for kings, that was used in sacred rituals in an incense, that reminded us of prayer, that reminded us of lofty prayers rising up to God as so much sweet-smelling smoke. Do you give to the Lord? Can you give to the Lord this new year a newly dedicated prayer life? Can you give to him greater prayer? Can you work out in a more intentional way, seek out a more profound spiritual life? Which star do you follow? Or maybe even we can consider this gift of myrrh. This is a pretty terrible gift. Myrrh is the precious oil that was used to prepare a dead body for burial. Myrrh, which seems a strange gift for a child, reminds us that we ought not just seek God when we're on our deathbed, but rather we should give to the Lord not just the promise of a happy death, but can we give to the Lord our entire life? Which star do you follow? Because if we listen to the words of the prophet Isaiah, if we seek that most radiant star of Bethlehem, then the light of our Lord Jesus will enlighten our lives, will change the way that we live, will change the way that we go about our world. Isaiah promised us this when he said, "Rise up in splendor. Your light has come. The star that you've most desperately longed for is here. The glory of God shines upon you." See, there's darkness that covers the earth, and thick clouds cover many peoples, but upon you the Lord shines. And over you is God's glory. And it's our vocation, it's our calling as disciples of Jesus Christ that we shine with the brightness of that star of Bethlehem, that we become for the world today like the glory of our Lord. And so Isaiah says, nations will walk by your light, and kings will see by your shining radiance. Then, when all of this happens, when you begin to pursue more dedicatedly, more earnestly, more passionately that star of Bethlehem, then you will be radiant, Isaiah says. Your heart will throb and overflow with joy. For the world will see in you the very presence of God, the riches of our divine Creator, Jesus Christ himself. And so I ask you, one final time, what star do you follow?